All right, so I got Sparks with me again.
Hey.
So today we're going to be telling you guys 10 things that they don't tell you when you're ready to become a realtor. All right, so many people think that the hardest part is passing the exam. And it can be, it can be a little difficult, but if you study, it's not that hard. Actually, I did a video on how you can pass the exam, some tips on how to pass the exam. So I'll link that in the description. But essentially, being new to real estate, there are a few things that you need to know. So we are going to talk about it. So Sparks is a money person, right? So I'm going to let her tell y'all about the expenses that you need in getting into real estate.
Wonderful. So like she said, number one, expenses. So a lot of times when you get into real estate, you think it may just be simple as going to take a course and getting your license. But there are a lot of hidden fees that you may not know behind the scenes when becoming a realtor. And some of those fees are your MLS dues. When you become licensed, you have to get access to the MLS, which is the multiple listing service,
right.
And that comes with a fee. Depending on which MLS you choose and what time of the year that you belong, it's going to determine what that costs. Because in conjunction to that is the board of realtors, right? You have to belong to a board. We're in the Oakland County Board of Realtors, and so again, it just depends on which one that you choose to belong to. Is going to be different state by state, as well as area by area.
Yeah, because I think I'm in GMAR.
Okay, okay.
I'm GMAR.
I'm trying to make
you Oakland. So I'm GMAR, she's Oakland, but it's pretty much the same. And your fees are how much?
So I think in Knockboard they're about $585 a year.
Okay, got it. I think ours are like $540.
Okay.
So anywhere between $500 and $600 is what you can.
And again, like I said, it depends on what time of the year that you join, because they're not going to charge you the full price if you start mid-year or towards the end of the year. So that can vary.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry, real quick. I wanted to tell them too that GMAR, I don't know if y'all do it, but GMAR, they let you pay monthly.
Really?
They let you break it down into monthly payments. It's a little bit more,
okay,
but they do let you break it down into monthly payments. So.
Nice. Win. So check out GMAR if you're in Michigan. So that's really good to know. Also, going back, I know I mentioned that you have the real estate course to take as well as the exam, but let's talk about how much that will cost. So in the state of Michigan, you can take the course for around $200 to $400, depending on where you go. I know I paid around $350 to go at the Institute.
Okay, Michigan Institute of Real Estate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, cool. Really love them. But you went to...
So I went to Michigan Institute of Real Estate as well, but I've been telling people they can go to the, what is it called? The Real Estate One Academy. Yeah, Real Estate One Academy, because they have a Groupon that can be between $80 and $100 depending on where you go. So check that out.
So she dropping the gems. Not only can you pay monthly at GMAR, but if you get the Groupon, you can actually take your course for around $85. So that's really great to help with lowering your upfront costs. And so, by the way, how much is the exam for the state of Michigan? Well, it's only $85 for each time. However, you do have to pay that every time you take the exam. But remember, she has a video on how to pass the first time, so be sure to watch that as well.
All right, so Sparks gave you all the details about the numbers. I think you need to tell them about the broker fees too, right? So depending on what brokerage you join.
Yeah, so also you have your broker fee. So now that you've taken your exam, you have picked the board that you're gonna belong to, you have to pay your brokerage to get started. And so with EXP, which is where we belong, there's an onboarding fee. That's around $149 for one time. And then that gets you onboarded, that gets you set up with their system. And so you also have a monthly fee of $85 for EXP brokerage fees. But what's included is the EXP world, you get the transactional fees of what they're doing behind the scenes, you get KV Core, which is an awesome CRM, as well as the errors and omissions. So that is a whole lot for a little bit every month, right? And again, when you pay the onboarding fee, that $85 is included, so you don't have to start until the additional month.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So those are the fees that you need to know about upfront. Of course, there are more fees included when you want to do marketing and all that stuff, but we'll get into that. We're going to tell you all about the marketing, right? All right, so another thing they need to know is that the pay is uncapped, right? So it takes work though. You know, you it's uncapped, but it can be capped depending on how much you work, right? The average realtor makes about $49,000, which is, you know, it's okay money, but there are millionaires in the business is making millions of dollars every single year in real estate, right? But you have to be dedicated. You got to be dedicated. You have to make sure you put in the grind in, and you make sure that you are focused on everything that you need to do. It's not a get rich thing at all. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication. So know that, but know that the pay is uncapped. That's why I got into it really, because I mean, I can make my cap. I don't have to worry about what somebody gonna pay me. I'll work and make it happen. That can be a two-edged sword though. Yeah, because you gotta work and make it happen. But that's another big thing that I want you to know, that your pay is uncapped, but you gotta go out and get it. All right. So Sparks is gonna talk to you about the marketing, because that's the next huge piece of it is marketing, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So just like TaNia said, you have to go out and get it. What you put in is what you get out. And so marketing plays a huge part into that. One of the major things which we all are part of, most people are a part of, is social media. It is huge. You want to go out and tell everybody, hey, I'm in real estate and this is what I'm doing. But you have to be consistent, because what's the main thing? If you're not in front of them, they will forget.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the major rules in marketing is that someone has to see something 7 times before they remember, right? Think about all the billboards and all of the text messages that we get from everywhere, I'm sure, especially during election time, right? Everybody got so many messages because they want to drill into your head. So you have to not be afraid of marketing. And that's one of the major pieces that is gonna help you be successful in this business. So talking about it on your social media, going out, door knocking, doing open houses, letting people know that you are in real estate and you are of service to them. And remember, time is money. Time is money. So where you spend your time is how you're going to retrieve your money. So you want to go out, speak to people, and offer value, because that's the main thing. We're here to help people. It's not all about the money. That's going to be an end result. So you want to make sure that you're coming from a place of value. That's a really huge piece in marketing. If you can provide information and education to people, they're going to want to know more. They're going to appreciate you because you're helping them. You're empowering them to be better through their sale, through whatever it is that they're doing. So that's a really great marketing strategy. Also, cold calling. Now, this is not for the faint of heart, right? Most people don't really like cold calling, but if you love to talk, like myself, then this may be your alley, because you're simply just having a conversation with people. It is a little bit harder to convert people over the phone because they're not face to face. But if that's not your thing, like I said before, you can go out, door knock, do vendor events. You can do every door marketing where you're sending out postcards to different houses. There's so many things you can do, but you have to get out there. The number one rule that you don't want to be is a secret agent. So market.
Yes, that's really good. And to add on to that, like, you have to know what's good for you. What's your niche? Because I never liked being on the phone. I did it because I felt like I had to, but I'm a face-to-face person. I feel like if I can look you in your eyes, I can make it happen, right? You know, so you just have to find out what you're good at. But don't let fear hold you back, because I know I didn't want to do video, but y'all see me in front of the camera, right? But so I wouldn't let fear hold me back. I had to know, like, is this just not my lane, or is it that I'm fearful of getting in front of the camera? So don't let fear hold you back, no matter what, right?
You're great at it.
Well, thank you. But all right, so the next thing we have for you is letting you know that getting clients is not the biggest part of real estate. And I know a lot of people think that, like, all I gotta do is get some clients, get people to talk to, get somebody to buy a house or sell a house. Nah, that's not it. That is far from the truth, okay? So there's so many things, like Sparks was telling you about the marketing, the system. So it's systems that you have to learn, like a CRM. Most people don't even know what a CRM is. A CRM is a contact relation management software, right? So it keeps all your clients in your database, so you can know when to call them, when to text them, because this follow-up. Follow-up is the key. Like, you gonna talk to one person one day, like she was telling, like, you know, different marketing techniques. If people reach out to you, you have to follow up with them. They may not be ready that first time, right? So you have to be able to follow up. And that CRM keeps you in the know. It says, like, if you put the systems together, like we put systems together, together too. Oh, we spent a lot of time on that, but we put systems together. So our system tells our agents when to call, when to text. We even wrote out the text to send out on that day, wrote out the emails to send out so that they know what to do, right? So you have to figure out your systems, right? You have to figure that out, how to work the CRM and all those things. Then you have to learn how to do MLS searches, because you got to set your client up on the MLS search so they can know what houses come on the market.
Sure.
And then you don't want to just send them out to them. You want to look at them. You got to know how to look at them and hear what your client wants. You have to find out what they want. Like I tell my agents all the time, listen some more, because you want to find out what this client needs, right? You go out to the property with them, you want to find out what, if you go show them a house, if you pull up a house that has 3 bedrooms and they clearly told you they wanted 5 bedrooms, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. So you have to be attentive, and you have to know how to look through those MLS searches to find what they need. Maybe they wanted a large kitchen with the island, and that's not on the MLS search, right?
Nope.
So you have to read through the remarks and see what they want, if it has that. So it's a lot entailed in that, right? And then negotiating. You gotta know how to negotiate for your client. You can't just go with what somebody say, especially when you're a new agent. I was just telling one of my agents, I'm like, look, she was like, how did they just go with what you said as soon as you said it? When I said it, they didn't want to, they wouldn't budge. I said, because they could sense fear. They could sense when you don't have the confidence. You have to go in like a beast, even if you ain't, okay? Like, even if you're not, you have to go in with that confidence, because they can smell, the older agents, they can smell fear. And you have to know your stuff. You have to be confident in it. And you have to go in with your client's best interest. You're not taking just anything for your clients, because you wouldn't take anything for yourself, right? So negotiating is huge, right? And then the other thing is, knowing the different parts of a transaction, because there are inspection and appraisal and title and all those things, and you never knew none of that stuff, right? So you need to know it, because I want to know so I can explain it to my client. I want every client to walk away knowing more about real estate than they came. Then I don't want to just hand them a contract. I want them to understand the contract. So you have to first understand it. You have to first understand what an inspection is, what an appraisal is, what title is. So you have to do a lot of learning so you can know the game, right? I know it's a lot, but I just want you to know what you're doing so you can teach your clients, right? So that's it.
But that's what you're here to help coach them do, right?
Yeah, I will be here, So we are doing some coaching. We have Elite Organization through EXP, where we'll be teaching agents how to be better agents. I'll even be training agents on, like, if you are a current agent, how to start a team. It's called Team Leader Tactics. So I'll be teaching you guys how to turn your career into a business. So that is coming up.
Wonderful.
So another thing that we want to talk to you about, this is probably number 4, we want to talk to you about having a savings. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So just like TaNia just said, she's going to show you how to turn your real estate career into a business, but that takes time. Number one things I wish I would have known before becoming a realtor is to have a savings. It's so good to start off your real estate career with something as your side hustle, something producing residual income. Because remember, in another video that TaNia talked about was the cash flow quadrant. So right now, when you get into the real estate game as a realtor, you're being self-employed, and the goal is to always work from self-employed to building a business, right? And so continuing to work at your job, continuing to do whatever it is that you were doing before you became a realtor is going to be vital, because remember, that will help you fund your realtor business until it becomes self-funded. So that's a really good tip, and TaNia is going to talk a little bit more about that later.
That's huge. Like, you want to have a savings, you want to have a nest egg, and that's like one of the biggest things. I think that a lot of people jump in head first, and I'm one of them people.
We were too.
I'm one of them people that jump in head first, but you can do real estate part-time, and that's getting into our 5th one. You can do real estate part-time. A lot of people, they just quit their job and like, let's go in real estate full-fledged, but You can't do that, because I mean, I'm telling you, it's so many people that get in real estate, they in it for like 6 months to a year and then give up, you know, because they didn't prepare ahead of time. But you can't. I have so many agents that's on my team that are part-time, and they killing it part-time. I had one agent when she first started with me, I think her income was about $50,000 a year, and so in her regular job. So she waited until real estate exceeded that $50,000, and then she quit her job. And that was the smartest thing she could have ever done, because it gives you time, and it also gives you, it takes that pressure. It takes the pressure off of you that I gotta go out and get it. If you don't have to, if you don't have that mindset that I gotta go out and get it, then you'll even treat your clients better. You know,
absolutely.
You're not treating them like a check. You treat them like a person, and things will just flow easier because you don't have that pressure on you.
So to piggyback off of what you're saying, something that I always tell my team, I have a lot of part-time agents as well, and I always say, you have to get that monkey off your back, right? Your evangelist actually said something that stuck with me. She said, you have to fix the money problem. So we're getting into real estate to fix the money problem, not create another one, right? So that's a really good point. It takes about 6 months to actually sell a house, even on the selling side, which is, you know, supposed to be a faster process.
Yes, it definitely does. And it just really depends on how hard you work. Like going back to that, like, you have to decide that I'm gonna hustle hard, I'm gonna make this happen before anything, you know, really is shake. I personally closed my first deal within the first 2 months because I was like really dedicated. I had to make it happen. I had jumped in it full-fledged, and I had God's favor, you know. And it ended up being a cash deal, which was real cool because those close way faster, right? But overall, like on average, it takes about 6 months to close your first deal when you first get into real estate. So we talked about sellers and buyers, but I want to talk to you guys about the difference between working with sellers and working with buyers, because there is a difference.
Yes.
Okay, so sellers require more upfront expenses because you have to market their property, right? You want to advertise it. We pay for professional photos to be taken for our clients. We pay for coming soon. We pay for Facebook ads and, you know, postcards to go out, all those things, because you have to get it in front of people so they can buy the house, right? And it also takes a little more confidence.
For sure.
Because the seller is paying you and they looking at you like, all right, what you gonna do? Like, for real, that's how they looking at you. So you have to, you know, build your confidence up, which it's not gonna be hard. You just gotta build it up. You have to go to the training classes and get a mentor, different things like that, so that you can be confident in what you're doing. Buyers are a lot quicker to get. You know, they're easier to get, but they're gonna work you. All right, you can be rolling around with a buyer for 3 months, and especially a picky one. Oh my goodness. You can be rolling with them for a while before they even pick something. So you running out your gas and all that stuff, you know, showing them properties. But I love buyers because, you know, the feeling they get when they buy their first house, or, you know, even their second house, like getting in there and getting those warm and fuzzies. I love that part of it so much. But the sellers, they're just quicker. They're quicker once you get them, they're quicker, and it doesn't require a lot of time because you go into the listing appointment, you get it signed, you start marketing it. You don't have to go back to that house or see that seller for real again until closing. But the buyers you out with continuously. So that's the difference. But they're both great. It's both, you know, it's both great to do. But with the sellers, you want to have your money up a little bit, have that savings so that you can invest into their property. Because, you know, I see so many properties that just sit on the market because the agent, they taking pictures with their phone and look blurry, and I ain't even seen it. You know, I haven't even seen the property. My client's not seeing the properties because they're not doing reverse prospecting and different things, or putting it on social media so we can see it. So make sure you have a nest egg. Go back to that nest egg again.
And to jump into what you're saying, that goes into our 8th point, which is tracking your metrics, right? So you want to know how long it takes you to convert sellers or buyers, because that's going to help you know how hard do I have to work? How much work do I need to put in before I actually get this client to the closing table? Unfortunately, every deal or every client that you meet doesn't close. It's just a part of the business. So how do you know how many clients that you have to talk to in order to reach your goals? Well, you want to track your numbers. Like she say, I'm the numbers girl. And I'm always like, know your numbers, know your numbers, know your numbers, because that will help you. When you think of any large a company that is doing immeasurable amount of business, they know how much they're going to do in the first quarter, in the second quarter, in the third quarter. And remember, we're being business mindset, so we want to know our numbers as well. We want to know that it takes 100 calls to talk to 3 buyers. Out of those 3 buyers, I'm going to set an appointment. Out of 1 appointment, I'm going to actually get them to the closing table in 2 months or 3 months. And something else to know is, what if I'm not doing so good in this area, how can I improve? I know we have what's called a metric sheet or a agent tracker, and it allows us to see where am I excelling at and where am I failing at. And from there, that allows us to say, okay, you know what, I don't think I'm converting that well on the phone, because I'm making 1,000 phone calls and they're hanging up in my face. So that means I need to practice my scripts more. Or I'm going to 1,000 seller appointments and I still don't have a listing. That means I need to study my listing presentation more. So knowing your numbers doesn't just help you know how many people you have to talk to, but it allows you to know what you need to get better at as well.
Yep, that's the truth. That's the truth. And then know that you are totally on your own. When you do real estate, you are totally on your own. It's a business, right? You have to be self-motivated. There is nobody looking over your shoulder like, did you get this done? Did you make your calls? Did you go out and door knock? Unless you're on a team, right? Like, you can join a team, and we talked about that before. We talked about the difference between being on a team and being a solo agent. So we'll link that in the description as well. But you want to make sure that you are a self-starter. If you're doing this on your own, you have to be a self-starter. You have to, have discipline to get up out the bed and get on your calls. Don't sit in the bed on your calls, because people hear that. They hear that laziness in your voice. So you have to be a self-starter at all costs, right? And you can, like we said, join a team, and the team will catapult your career, because when you get on a team, it allows you to piggyback on your leader's success, right? So that's something that you can take in mind as well.
So I know that you done went over a lot, but it's good news, right? So as TaNia has said several times, we have Elite or Consulting. So just if you're like just trying to figure out where to start, or how do I, train, or all of these things you're talking about, how do I get better at them? Look us up, Elite or Consulting with EXP. So this leads us into our final point. Training is important.
Yes, very important. So your team, if you join a team, that will help a lot. Even if you join, like she was talking about, Elite Org, that'll help a whole lot. And then your brokerage, like I know EXP, they have so many training classes online, but you got to take the classes. You have to be committed to go. They can put all the training classes out they want to, but if you don't go, it's not going to help you, right? Your association also helps with this. Like I know our association gives us so many different classes you can take. They even offer Con Ed. So in Michigan, you have to have 6 hours of Con Ed each year, right? So Con Education is continuing ed. They just want you to learn the different laws and anything that changed each year so that you can stay up to date, right? And you have to do that in order to keep your license, right? So that's some training that you need as well. So you want to make sure that you attend every training that's out there, and don't just attend a training, but put it into action. Don't just be a hearer, be a doer as well. So put into action what you learn. So I would say, like, piece it together. In Elite Org, we tell you what classes you should take with EXP. What's the best ones to take for the point that you are at in your career, right? So remember, training is important. Okay, so I know we gave y'all a whole lot of information. So take it all in, rewatch it if you have to, but know that these are the things that you need to know about getting into real estate. And if you take this advice and learn the different things that we're telling you to learn, then you'll be a lot ahead of the game, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop new content.